Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Holmes with She Plays, and this afternoon I have the pleasure of speaking with NWHL superstar and Boston Pride team captain Jillian Dempsey. Jillian, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thanks for having me. It's been great chatting.
Yes. All right, Jillian. So today I just wanted to talk to you about your career as a hockey player and as a full-time teacher. So, to get us started, do you mind sharing how you began playing hockey and when did you realize that playing professionally could be a reality?
So I started playing hockey way back when I was 5. My dad played and loved it, so naturally, he actually put me and my siblings into a variety of sports. We played everything growing up, and obviously with hockey, fell in love with it right away. Um, and thank goodness, it's been everything for me. It's been my greatest passion, and both of my younger brothers play. My older sister didn't, but she was always in the rink and cheering us on, supporting me. So it's been we're definitely a hockey family, and it's taken us all over the place. But very very rewarding experience overall. And at the time, there was no professional women's option. When I was growing up, I was dreaming of the NHL, watching NHL games, and obviously aspiring to be that one female who breaks into the NHL, and wanting obviously to play for Team USA, win an Olympic gold. And in sixth grade, I actually really started with the dream of wanting to go to Harvard and play hockey for Harvard. So um, that was a dream come true that I was able to experience, and loved every minute of it. And at some point, I'm not even entirely sure when the Canadian Women's Hockey League, the CWHL, started, but at some point, I was knowing players who were graduating college and going to continue playing in the CWHL. So when I finished my college experience, um, I tried out for the Olympic team, got invited to that tryout, but ended up getting cut. So that I was devastated about that, and I wasn't really sure what was next for hockey. But fortunately, there was a Boston team in the CWHL, so I suited up that fall and played for the Boston Blades for 2 years. And then the NWHL came out of nowhere, and have been playing in that league ever since for the Boston Pride. So um, when it actually became a reality, I think probably in college. And I wasn't thinking too much beyond trying out for USA after college, and having a national team um, role. But obviously, when that didn't work out right off the bat, and the next option was looking at the professional hockey. And um, I love that we have teams here in Boston, because I'm a Boston kid, and I absolutely love being from here and everything about it. So it was an easy decision to play for Boston.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like you're a hometown hero, and it also it's pretty obvious you transitioned into the professional ranks pretty smoothly. The 2014 CWHL Rookie of the Year, and obviously you've had plenty of success with the NWHL. So this season obviously looked a lot different than years past, playing at Lake Placid in a bubble. So on the ice, I know in 7 games, you recorded 3 goals and 3 assists, which is so impressive. So what were some of your favorite memories on the ice in Lake Placid, and what were some of your favorite memories off the ice?
Yeah, we were, like you said, the uncertainty of this season. We didn't know what to expect from the outset. Obviously, last season it ended without closure, and that was something that really stuck with us through the whole off season, because we were so close to having the opportunity to play in the championship, and we were confident in our team and our ability to win the cup. And then to not have that, it just felt unfulfilled, I suppose, at the end of what was such an enjoyable and successful season for us. So it was great to get on the ice with the team, and be able to practice so frequently starting right off the bat in September, but not really knowing what we were playing for or what it was going to look like. So when the Lake Placid decision was announced, we were thrilled. Obviously, there were a lot of questions with, having to balance your job outside of hockey. But fortunately for me and most people on my team, like, it was able to work out. And my school and my students, their families, incredibly supportive of everything, and that just made it so much easier for me to be able to enjoy. And I was still teaching when I was in the bubble, so it was great to see my students every day and to still be involved and not have any more disruptions for them in what was a crazy year. And many of them tuned into watching and on the games on Twitch, and um, several ended up getting the jerseys. So that was, obviously made me smile. That was really great to see. But it was definitely an interesting experience because we came in, we wanted to build off of what we had last year, even though totally different team, a different makeup. And when it's a new season, it's just a new team, and I think there was a lot of talk and outside noise about, oh, the Boston Pride Cup. We were a different team, but I think people were obviously remembering the season before, and we had high expectations for ourselves, and we struggled early on. We dropped the 2-1 game to Minnesota right off the bat, and we had the lead, so that was a frustrating loss. And then we were able to win against Buffalo, so that was great, getting us back on track, we felt. And then same thing against Toronto. We had a 1-0 lead and lost 2-1. And those ones were, those really stick with you because when we had opportunities to close out those games and didn't. And we didn't respond the way that we wanted to respond to giving up a goal against. And so I think those games were definitely learning experiences for us as a group, and to see what kind of team we were going to be, what was our identity going to be. And I actually injured myself at the end of the Toronto game, so that was frustrating on top of everything else. And I wasn't able to play in the game against Connecticut the next day, but I was on the bench, so I was able to be with the team and be part of it. And then we ended up losing that game. So there was tremendous adversity for us, and just facing losses. We hadn't lost much at all the season before. And, the rookies were coming into that team, and we had, like I said before, the high expectations for ourselves. We wanted to win the cup. That was our main focus all year, main focus in the bubble. And then we were faced with putting ourselves in a position where we were fighting for our lives to even be in contention for the semi, So then we had the best of 3 series against Buffalo, and we dropped the first game. So now we were as backs against the wall as we could possibly be. And we found that in those moments, so showing up for game 2 against Buffalo, we take pride in the fact that we finally found out what our team identity is and how we were going to respond to facing elimination, and, finally just rise above that and be resilient and kind of make our bounce back. And we played tremendously in that game too, and then the following game, to secure our spot in the semi. And I felt like we were really picking up steam and finally finding our groove and really coming together. And then obviously everything kind of was shut down because of the COVID cases. So it was temporarily suspended, and optimistic that we'll get to finish. So looking forward to that possible opportunity. But the favorite parts in the bubble, hockey wise, I would say were definitely those moments where we were coming together and finally playing the way that we expected ourselves to be playing. I don't want to call it a locker room because it wasn't a locker room, because we were out in an open space, more spread out. They were trying to, some of the protocol, it wasn't all of us in that enclosed space, but the locker room between periods, the vibes and the energy that everybody had. And a lot of positive memories in those in between periods and in the goal celebrations, especially like Sammy's. I want to say it was the game two, but she had a huge goal at the end of a period, and the celebration ended up practically on the bench, and it was just one of those moments, the exhilarating moments that you really enjoy with your teammates. So I would say those were some of the highlights. And off the ice, we we didn't really get a tremendous amount of time together. It was strange circumstances, and many people had work on during the day, but I think we were fortunate that we had a group where trying to make the best of the situation, and appreciative to all of the staff who made it enjoyable, and the food was always delicious. I loved the meals. But yeah, it was an enjoyable experience despite everything kind of unraveling on us at the end, and so much that we can take from it and continue to build.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Long-winded answer, sorry.
No, it was perfect. So from your perspective, what was it like leading up to the moment where the decision was to suspend the season? I know that was definitely tough for us fans. Really excited for watching you all on the NBC Sports Network, and we're really excited for when the opportunity comes. But how was that inside of the bubble for you all players?
Well, it was early on when we had hearing about the Riveters and them having to be sent home. I guess at first I was thinking, okay, like we're still all right, that maybe was just secluded to their team, which was probably naive thinking, knowing how this virus spreads. And unfortunately, obviously, it started to make its way to some other teams, and we were still untouched for so long. And our team was vigilant in so many of the COVID protocols since September, so we were very commit, like all the sacrifices made all year to, really limit what you were doing outside of the rink and outside of work to be ready for the bubble and make sure like nothing was going to get in the way. I really thought we were going to end up making it through without it ever getting to us, but it somehow did with the games. I don't know how, but I think once it eventually got to our team, that was very discouraging, because I think we kind of had a feeling in that moment that, okay, now it's been to every team. It's going to be unrealistic for this to continue here. And so kind of just grappling with all those emotions and, coming off of the high of us earning that spot that we really had to fight for, and really feeling reinvigorated by how we played and how we came together, and just being fired up to keep it rolling, to then realizing that everything was being shut down. And on top of that there, people were getting symptoms and not feeling well and whatnot. It was just a lot to take in at the time, and obviously discouraging and disappointing, but it was the choice that needed to be made for safety. So we understand that. And, we're glad that the league chose the safety of the players in that moment. So, but like I said, optimistic and excited for whenever that next opportunity will be, and hopefully soon. And hopefully we'll be able to pick up right where we left off and go out there and kind of get that redemption and finish what we started.
Yes, definitely. We'll be right there with you guys, cheering you
Love
on when that moment comes. And you talked about the adversity that your team faced, between just COVID-19 impacting the season, and then, taking some losses, and then, you kind of being injured for a few of those games. As a veteran on this team and kind of seeing a new generation of players come in, how does your leadership, how do you look to lead your team going forward when you guys resume the season?
I think the biggest thing that I always just focus on as a leader is really trying to lead by example and, know my teammates and support my teammates. And I think at this level, everybody's here because they still love playing, so nobody needs that spark to be motivated and excited to be here. And, I genuinely am. So I think it's, whenever I get to the rink, it's very obvious to everybody how excited I am to be there and to be with them and to still be doing what I love at, I don't want to say at my age, but now, they cheer at me for being 30 now, and all in good fun. But definitely it's something I see as a privilege to be still playing this game that I love and competitively. So, going forward, I think in all year, actually, it's been a big, like from our leadership standpoint, it's been trying to just focus on what you can control, because there's so much that's beyond what we can control right now. And so all the more it's like focus on what you can manage, and having yourself be prepared off the ice, and making the most of the time that we're on the ice practicing together, and really just kind of making sure that we're doing everything we can be to help the team and to be ready when the time comes. So I guess it's a lot of the same from me, players who have played with me for years. I don't think I'm too different from like the college days or even from the club hockey days. Like I said, I love playing and I love being there, and trying to always just soak it in and enjoy the moments. And that's something that, like the adversity that we faced in Lake Placid, and the losing and the experiences coming from that, I think has really strengthened our group. And that's going to be real important for us when it comes down to, who wants it more when we're vying for the cup in the end.
Yeah, that's awesome, Jillian. Your team certainly has a great role model and leader, leading them into this next phase of this season whenever that starts back up. But what I want people to understand is that, Jillian, you are the NWHL's all-time leader in games played, goals, assists, and points. But what some people may not understand, you've kind of mentioned this, that you are a full-time teacher. So I think that's very impressive. So could you talk about, let's start with, when did you realize you wanted to become a teacher?
So for the longest time, my heart was just in hockey, and I didn't know what I was going to pursue beyond that. But in my older sister so she was a senior in college when I was a freshman, and she applied and was accepted into Teach for America. So she got the position as, I think at the time I was 7th grade science teacher in Revere, one of the local towns. And so, she was going through her Teach for America experience when I was in college. And, as I was getting up into junior year, kind of contemplating what I wanted to do beyond. Obviously, I still wanted to focus on hockey, and I was, thinking Team USA. And, but I just naturally gravitated towards pursuing something with teaching. And with my sister being in Teach for America, that was kind of the path I followed. I inquired about it, and it was funny. I still laugh about it now with her, because she definitely made sure to let me know how challenging it was and how exhausting it is. Obviously, very rewarding, but she was making sure I was aware of that when I was signing up. And I said, Meg, I've done hard things before. It won't be a problem. I can do it, And then when I was really in it, I knew exactly what she meant about how challenging it was. And, it's cliche, but you really do learn something every single day in the job, especially when you're a new teacher. So those first couple of years were very much a learning experience for me. And I essentially started from nowhere. Like, I had no experience in education, minus my own. And after that 2 years, I felt like I had gained so much knowledge, and working with students, and IEPs and lesson planning and just an abundance of things that I would have never even known that I didn't know the year before. So I really thought about what I was going to do beyond college, probably my junior year. And then I was fortunate to be accepted into Teach for America. And I got placed in a town that was about 40 minutes north of the city. So I was able to continue playing hockey here competitively and just kind of, instead of me being the student, I was the teacher. So it was and here I am. Jesus, this my seventh, no, my eighth. I don't even know now. I guess I'm getting. I had the 2 years, yeah, and this is this is the eighth year I think now of teaching. So, kind of wild. That came quick.
So can you walk us through a day-to-day routine of playing hockey and in teaching? Maybe the COVID-19 year might be a little bit different, but maybe under normal conditions, what was it like to play ice hockey and teach?
Yeah, so most of our games were on the weekends, which was perfect. It fit my schedule very nicely. A typical weekday would be wake up, go to work. I always prefer being there early. I'm very much one of those people who likes to have everything prepared in advance and ready to go. At the end of the school day, I would drive to Woburn, um, the Mike Boyle Strength and Conditioning gym, and do my off ice work out there. And then it would, depending on the night, I would either have practice or like I'd have time to come home and settle in, have dinner, then go to practice, or it would be a night where we didn't have practice and I'd probably do some lesson planning and then go to bed. So looking back, they were definitely packed days and always busy, but the good kind of busy. And now with everything, it's shit. Like I have some equipment that I got and, an assault bike that I have. And so I do most of my workouts from home. I'm eager when I'll get back to my gym. I just, I think it's still, the setup that I have here is great, knowing what the gym setups are still like right now. But I'm excited when the gym gets back to quote unquote normal. Because I miss all my trainer, seeing everybody and just that whole atmosphere. But yeah, it was very, very busy days. When I was in Teach for America, those were long days. But like I said, going to hockey practice was something that was what I looked forward to during the day. And being there, no matter how tired I felt, it was enjoyable to be there and to be on the ice and be in the locker room with the team. So that kept me going. And when, in the classroom with the kids, same thing, everything's so hands-on and I'm kind of constantly on and interacting and teaching and supporting that even when I was tired, I don't notice it as much because I'm just go for pretty much the entire day. But definitely slept well and always appreciated my sleep. But yeah, I'm fortunate because I get to do two things that I love and really try to keep that perspective.
So how long does it take for your students to realize that their teacher is a professional ice hockey player?
Well, I'm from and currently teach in a very small town. So many of my students just, I guess, know from being in the school, and siblings and cousins and relatives and friends. And like I said, very small town. So it's something, I guess, that I'm the hockey teacher. And that's just decently well known, I think. But it is something that the second you walk into my classroom, before you even do, you'd be able to tell that hockey's something I'm passionate about. I have a little mini stick outside, that outside my door. There's a Blades poster, the mascot because the Bruins had done something with promoting reading, and so it says read, and it has blades, and that's just outside my classroom. So right when you walk in, you'll eventually notice a miracle poster and other tiny details that show that it's something I'm passionate about. And I share with my students pretty early on, just in getting to know them and kind of establishing what their like bigger dreams are, and kind of pursuing those. And in that whole process, I share my journey and how I was pursuing my hockey dreams and how I ended up teaching. And that's something that I definitely discuss with them and share with them in that first week. So it really doesn't take too long.
Earlier, you mentioned that your students, might be wearing your jersey, or they're tuning in to games on Twitch. What does that mean to you?
Honestly, sometimes well, first of all, it lifts me up so much. And when they come in the t-shirt or the jersey, it just, I can't help but smile. It just really warms me. And, like my last day in school before leaving for Lake Placid, the entire staff had like communicated that they were going to wear their Dempsey t-shirts. And so it was in a bunch of them have it was so heartwarming that day to see them all in it. And several students had some on as well, and just walking in the hall and then seeing somebody in my t-shirt, and it just it really made me feel good. And I have, like I mentioned before, I have such a supportive school from all of my colleagues, so like my principal, my assistant principal, my superintendent. They're all wonderful and supportive, and encourage me to continue pursuing those hockey dreams. And then my students and their families are always on board. Like, they're always so excited to learn of it. And when they actually start watching games and then engaging with it and like messaging me about it, that's something that I really enjoy as well, because that's my passion. And I tell my students, like, this is what I love to do. I love playing hockey and I love getting to teach you. So when they see me like living that passion outside of the classroom, I think it really helps cement some of the values that I talk about with them. And, how I encourage them, okay, if this is what you're going to want to do in high school or beyond, or whatever you're wanting to pursue, this is going to help you be successful, doing these little things with the hard work and being kind to people and, sticking to your goals. I think so much more of what I guess I preach to them and what they see in the classroom with me, it feels more real when they see me living that dream outside of the classroom. So it's always something I love getting to share with them. And, and it's just, it's funny. Some students who I would have never expected to be into it or interested in sports, all of a sudden will be students who were showing up to every single game and every home game, and making me posters and all kinds of little ways of showing support. And it just brings a smile to my face every time.
That is so sweet.
Yeah.
When your students, leave for the summer, what is something that you want your class to say about Miss Dempsey 10 years from now? What is the impact that you hope to have on your students?
Well, it's funny because sometimes they remember little things that I'm like, how do you remember that? But you didn't remember all of this other stuff that I really wanted to get in there. I think of something that I've already noticed with students who, like, my first group of fifth graders is they're freshmen this year, actually, in high school. So it'll be really strange when they're moving on to college. But anytime I see them or interact with former students, it's funny because I feel like some of the things that they say back to me have to do with reading and hockey. And that's perfect for me. I really push reading. I believe in its importance so much. And, one of my goals each year is to any reluctant readers, my goal is to find books that they'll enjoy and have them read consistently. You know, like I know that not every student is going to absolutely love reading, but because of how important literacy is in every subject, and like, you know, the benefits are unlimited, I just really, that's something that I push tremendously in my classroom. And a student always needs to have a book that they're working on, and we set little goals. Oh, like, okay, this one will take you about a month. Great, let's stick to that goal. We'll check in. And so it's a combination of setting little goals for yourself and working towards those daily, even when you don't want to, and really trying to help them find a passion for reading. And so that's something that I say every single day. And I know that when they reflect back, they're usually talking about a book that they read in my class, or I'm always touched when a parent or a former student will share something about when they were in my class, really falling in love with reading or falling in love with a certain book. That's part of what I want them taken away from me academically, at least. And then in terms of the intangibles, I always just hope that the two, if I had to pinpoint it to just two, it's work hard and be kind to people. And I have a poster on my whiteboard that says that. And I think when it really boils down to it, if you're doing those two things, then all the other boxes get checked. You know, if you're working hard, it's going to involve the sacrifice and the commitment and the resiliency, and perseverance. And that's kind of all encapsulated in working hard. And obviously being kind to people, it's how you treat others. And, you know, your impact on other people is going to, you know, if you're having a bad day, obviously you need to push that aside and still be friendly to people and still treat people the right way. So those are the two big things that I really stress when it comes down to it. And so if they're able to say that stuck with them after their time with me, then I would consider it a success.
That's awesome. When you look back, you know, when you were an elementary school student or in middle school or high school, even college, can you think about the characteristics of some of your favorite teachers and how you want to implement that in your own teaching career?
I have to say, I am one of those people who absolutely love school all the way through. And the biggest reason for that is my teachers. There was never a year that I said, oh, I hate school. I always loved going. I loved learning. I loved being in the classroom. And, you know, all of my elementary and middle school was here in Winthrop. And it's actually funny because some of those teachers are still teaching. They're my colleagues now. And like my fifth grade teacher, Mr. Mack, is now a fourth grade teacher in the school, but we're colleagues. And it's just, you know, it's always funny to be like, hey, Mr. Mack, you know, I don't even call him Warren because he's Mr. Mack to me. And another one of the fifth grade teachers, I didn't have him, but he was a fifth grade teacher when I was in fifth grade, and I remember him. And it's just, in our town, teachers who are from here and who teach here usually teach here for like the longevity of their career. So I think there's something special in that. And you know, working with them now, I'm able to see how passionate they are and how much they really love the students here in the community. So it's no surprise why I loved elementary school and middle school. And that really like sets the foundation for, I think, your relationship with school going forward. So I was very lucky to have wonderful teachers all the way throughout. And then when I went to Rivers for 8th grade in high school, it was the same thing, just an incredible community of people, and not even just my teachers, but the other staff, like the Zamboni guys at the rink, and the maintenance workers around campus, the cafeteria staff, and you know, just interacting with them on a daily basis. I was very appreciative of what I had and, getting to go to that prep school and all the experiences that came with that. But just very, very fortunate when I reflect back, thinking about how my teachers always supported me, always encouraged me, always believed in me. And, that really does something for you. So, um, I, yeah, I obviously, want to do the same for my students, and have, when they reflect back, I want their year with me to have been one of their best, and I want it to keep getting better for them though. Like I hope that they have a positive school experience overall, but I do hope that when they think back to 5th grade and being in my class, that it's happy memories, um, and that they felt supported and believed in, and hopefully, you know, made growth as people and as students. At the end of the day, I think that's what it comes down to. So,
Dylan, I do have to say that seeing your degree from Harvard, I figured that you might enjoy school just a little bit.
yeah.
So looking forward, what do you plan to do once your playing career is over?
It's, honestly, it's weird to think about. I've had people ask me before, oh, when do you anticipate you'll stop playing? And I say, I don't think I'm anywhere near that yet. Like, and, I take everything day by day, and like, I'm a very routine oriented person. So it's usually the typical routine, going to school, working out, having practice when it's in season, and then just on repeat. And I love it and I enjoy it. And I want to keep doing that for as long as I can. And as long as I'm still, still producing and doing the right things out there. I don't want to be that old washed up person who lost it. But definitely would have to stay involved in hockey. I love the game and being part of the growth of it. And I've coached here and there, but the only time I really coached a team for a whole season, it was a U12 team the year that before I started teaching. So I was done with college, but hadn't started Teach for America yet. So in that one year, that was kind of what I did during the day. Well, I guess after the school day, but since then, it really, with my teaching, with balancing teaching and my own training and playing, it doesn't fit in for me to, like, I'm an all-in person. So if I can't be at every practice for coaching, or be at every game, it wouldn't feel right to me. So I haven't really been able to pursue many coaching opportunities consistently in a season, because I just don't feel that I have the time to fully dedicate what I would want to that. But after I'm done playing, it's something I would definitely look into doing and pursuing. And obviously someday when I have my own kids, I definitely want them to be into hockey and, whatever other sport opportunities. And but I'm hoping they'll love hockey so that I can take them to the rink and kind of share in that with them. But I think it's definitely something that I'll be involved with forever, because the passion is there.
Yeah, I'm very confident that we got plenty more goals, assists, and games for you
Hope so.
in in the future. You mentioned, coaching for a little, coaching a little bit, and I'm just thinking about little girls playing ice hockey, and the youth leagues out there, player development specifically for girls. What is something that you want this next generation of young girls playing ice hockey to have that maybe you didn't have, or resources that maybe you didn't have access to because the game is still growing?
I think the biggest one is for hockey to be their career, in the same way that it is for male professional athletes. Because of the status that we have right now, I do see it as a positive that the, female hockey players are able to pursue whatever career they want. They're for the most part went to college, got college degrees, and like so many of my peers here are doing incredible careers. There's scientists, engineers, other teachers out there, and I think it's so impressive that some of the jobs that teammates and opponents are doing, what they do in their daytime job, and then to be coming to the rink and doing what they're doing at the rink. And so because that's something I'm experiencing right now, I obviously reflect on it as a positive that I have the opportunity to be able to do both and that I don't have to choose. But I think, in the future for these young up and coming female hockey players, the hope is that they'll have a league where their salaries are enough for them to just be playing hockey if that's what they want to do. And there have definitely been some steps taken in that direction. We're not there yet, obviously, but I think there are so many people involved in wanting to push the game forward and grow it. And the youth levels, like the numbers for girl hockey players in the United States, I think is growing exponentially. The last time I saw it, the involvement is really skyrocketing. And I think with that will come so many more opportunities. So definitely I think is having that be an option where if you want to just play hockey and that's going to be your career, that you can, because the money is there for that to be provide enough for you to be able to live comfortably doing that and following that passion. So, we're the improvements since when I got out of college to where we are now, it is very different. And there's so many little things that have improved. I think back, when I'm thinking back to my rookie year in the CWHL versus what the rookies this year came into, it's just a whole different experience. And so I try to, mention that at times and say, well, back when I started playing in the pros, this is how it was. And now look at us. So obviously still plenty of work to be done and growth to be made, but I think moving in the right direction.
Yes, it's definitely got to be encouraging seeing just the amount of growth there has been in the past couple of years. And for someone like you, obviously has had so much success in the NWHL and the CWHL, do you ever take a moment to think about the fact that you are playing such an integral role to the growth of women's ice hockey in the United States?
It's obviously that, people have mentioned being pioneers and growing the game. And that's definitely not lost on me. Like, I know everything that we're doing right now is for the future generations and really pushing the sport forward. But, in the day-to-day of it, I'm getting to show up and play hockey and, put everything into that and doing it with my friends and with working towards the same goal. And so and when I do stop and reflect on it, it's kind of crazy to me to think, wow, that, we're part of the pioneers for this. But when I think of pioneers, I think of Camu Ganato and Julie Chu and Angela Ruggiero. And those were the players who I looked up to, who made this possible for me. And so it's obviously an honor to be part of that conversation and part of that group who's really trying to progress the game. And but like I said, in the smaller moments, I'm really just getting to follow my passion and do what I love. And so it's easy to show up to the rink with a smile and put everything into it and know that doing so is helping to grow the game as well.
Jillian, that's awesome. Especially awesome to hear just how much fun you have for the game. With the NWHL season, still on hold, we definitely will be waiting and watching for you all to get back on the ice. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and thank you for your partnership as an athlete ambassador with She Plays.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking with you.